Good afternoon, sound check. Can you guys hear me okay? Sound check. Can you guys hear me okay? Perfect. Okay. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes. We're just waiting for 10 minutes after the market close. I just wanted to start this early to see if everything's good, because this is the first time we are testing over YouTube. If you guys like everything you see, please click on the thumb mark, make any comments on the YouTube video and everything. Just killing a little time right now. If you guys want me to look at any particular instruments, please let me know the instrument and time frame. Everyone's quiet so far. Anyone trading any particular instrument today? Hi, Warren. Wow, that's 2 years ago. Long time. Is anyone trading anything today? Or like to look at any particular instruments, banks, sectors, bonds, futures, gold? Markets are not good, but they are good. We've been telling our students that since the market started going up, and I'll actually wait in a couple of minutes, but we'll talk about it. How today pretty much was going to be a possibility of the high for the month for the E-mini S&P 5 futures going into the rest of the month. So far, the actions now are showing that it is to be, but we won't know until tomorrow, and we'll go through that once we start looking at charts. Okay, you want to look at Ripple, and let me enlarge my screen. What is the second one? I'm actually probably going to do another workshop on just sectors one day. So that's when I'm going to go through a lot of sectors in detail. XLP and XTL. Okay. You guys are jumping on the sectors. Sectors is a whole new subject, which we'll talk about separately. And the reason why is that when you talk about sectors, you have to talk about what you call the business cycle and sector rotations. So looking at a simple chart is fine, but you need to look at the sector rotations and everything too. Okay, so someone wants to look at the Shanghai Composite, gold, okay? Are you long-term, short-term? What are you looking for? Okay, let's go ahead and begin. I want to get started. Okay, welcome. Today is April 15th. It's around roughly 4:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Manesh Patel with IMTF Trade. This is something new we're testing out to go live on YouTube right after the market. Also something that we're looking at doing in the future, where a lot of our workshops and seminars and stuff we do broadcast them live to people on YouTube. So you do have the ability to look at that at any time. So today it's kind of like the beta version of what we're trying to do. As you could see from the title, it says market update. So pretty much I want to give a market update, what's going on with the market, kind of see exactly what, where the state is as of today. And then we'll go through, open up the floor for any questions or anything that you want to cover. So we can look at any global markets around the world. We can look at any stocks, currencies, futures, crypto, or anything like that. So the floor is open for us to review anything you have. I always encourage you guys to sit there and talk about things that you traded today. That way it makes it more of a live workshop where it talks about trades and stuff like that, and then go from there. So before we always begin, since this is a live recorded webinar, we go for a disclaimer to state this is for education use only. We're not soliciting you to buy or sell any particular instrument. If you do so, you're doing it at your own risk. All information is owned by EII Capital Group, cannot be copied or reproduced without our sole permission. Today, we are going to show charts from TradingView. So we're not linked with them at all. We're broker neutral, but we do have to show a certain charting package, so that will be TradingView. Okay, so we've gone through that. Let's go through and now go to the charts. That's the fun part that we enjoy. Okay, so everyone should be able to see my charts. Let me shrink the window down. I think this was about appropriate size yesterday. Is everyone okay with the size? Can you see everything okay? There is a little delay between me talking and Zoom, so I'm just going to give it a second. If you guys do talk about trades, please tell me the time frame that you're interested in too. Okay. Some of you guys have seen me present. Some of you guys haven't. Our specialty in the past has always been with Ichimoku, a Japanese trend-based system. If you've never seen it, it's this cloud here. But our specialty really has been with multiple time frame analysis. Ichimoku is just a tool that we use to do the multiple time frame analysis. Reason why is it's not the delayed indicator compared to all the different products out there. The system is very, very simple. The very first thing a trader should know is whether the instrument's bullish or bearish. If price is above the cloud here, and you could see right now the current price right here is above the cloud, that means basically the sentiment's bullish. If price is in the cloud, the sentiment's consolidating. If the sentiment is below the cloud, if price is below the cloud, the sentiment is basically bearish. Okay, this is a monthly time frame. You could see from the watermark here. So we are looking at a very long-term view of the chart. Okay, now just because something's bullish does not mean it's trending at all. So we tell you two things to keep it simple. It's got to be above the cloud, which basically means it's bullish, and it also has to be above the green line for it to be trending. So enough for something to be trending, it has to be above the cloud and above the green line, okay, in order for it to be a trending. If it's above the cloud but below the green line, that means you're bullish consolidating. If you're in the cloud, that means you're bearish, okay? Is everyone okay with that? In the investment webinar we had a couple of weeks ago when the markets were going down, we were talking about opportunities to buy with the Black Swan event that had occurred. And in that workshop, we also talked about this E-mini product, okay? And you could see here, after the financial crash in 2008, 2009, the E-mini was below the cloud, so the sentiment was bearish. We finally went above the cloud here in December 1st, 2001. We went above the cloud for a little while. Then we came here, went below the green line for 1 month, and then back here above the cloud and above the green line here, October 3, 2011. Since that time, this market has been in a very bullish scenario. We've been in a bullish trending scenario. And you could see here, if I scroll to the right here, we've basically been bullish trending for a very long time. Intermonth, you have a lot of scenarios where price like here can go below the cloud, below the green line, but the key is where does it close at the end of the month? You always have to wait for the close to see exactly what the situation is going to be. Reason why is you can't look at interbar due to all the volatility that's there. So you could see here, a lot of times it went below the green line on the monthly time frame, but at the end of the month, it always closes above the green line. So we've been in a bullish trending situation for since 2010 all the way to last month. Last month, we finally broke the green line and closed below the green line. So that basically told us we're no longer a bullish trend, okay? And with the Black Swan event, everything that went on with the markets going down, at one point, we even intermonth went below the cloud where the sentiment looked like it was bearish. A lot of people on TV were saying that we're in a bearish mode now. We're in a bearish cycle. However, we're not. People are jumping to conclusions very, very fast based on what they see on a day-to-day event. That does not make a long-term picture at all. You have to kind of calm things down, not panic, and you have to kind of see where things happen after the Black Swan event to see what the long-term picture was. And this is something where in our monthly subscription, we talked about with our students and said, you know, even though we're below the cloud, you know, it is still has a high probability where we can close inside the cloud or above the cloud. And in fact, we were telling our clients too to sit there and start looking for opportunities that look bullish trending on the monthly and is pulling back to that green line. Whenever, if they were bullish, where being above the cloud and above the green line for a long time, and after the Black Swan event here occurred here, and if they're still above the cloud and just touched the green line, those were opportunities to enter with a investment mentality. And I'll show you one of those opportunities in just a moment. But I just wanted to give you a little preface on what we talked about. So here, it looked like we're in a bearish long-term view. We weren't. We had to wait for the end of the month. And incredibly, we sat there, not even closed below the cloud. We didn't even close inside the cloud, but we closed above the cloud. By doing that, that told us that this market here is still bullish in nature because the sentiment is bullish, okay? So now what happens is that it seems like price is respecting the top of this cloud. So as long as price remains the top of this cloud, we still have a high probability to go up, okay? And we talked about it at the beginning of this month with our clients, where basically, as long as we maintain the top of this cloud, we had a high probability to get to that green line here. And remember, that green line is a situation where it's do or die for it to be trending. We're a bullish consolidating, but if we close above that green line for this month and even next month, now we have a high probability where we could retest this high and even possibly go higher for the end of the year. Yes, I understand that sounds crazy. I understand there's a lot of news out there. I understand there's a virus out there. However, I do not listen to that at all. I listen to the actions people take on the charts, and that's what matters. If you did listen to what people were talking about in the news and everything, when price went below the cloud here, you never would have thought about buying anything at all for investment purposes. And at that point, when the markets did go up, you'll be sitting there doing nothing at all right now, not taking advantage of the situation, not making any money in your investment portfolio or anything if you're listening to the news or following the crowd mentality. Okay. So you can't do that. You have to follow what you see on the charts and go from there. And that's kind of what we did. Okay. So we had a high probability to get to that green line, which we pretty much did. Okay. And in my chat room, I talked about how I exited 90% of my positions, long-term investments, when we approach this green line here. Why? There's a high probability. This is a situation between consolidating and trending. There's a high probability that we can bounce off this green line and go down to the top of this cloud again. Or we could sit there and close above it. Either way, the portfolio looks good. There's a unknown decision making right now. So the key is the best scenario from a money management perspective is to get out and wait to see exactly what happens. Okay. It's better to not make extra money than to lose money. Does everyone understand that? Because if you're a trader that's consistently trying to make money and you're surviving off your trading income, you always want to have that mentality where it's better to get out with your profits, declare your profits, than take the risk of you losing those profits because you don't know what's going to happen in the situation at all. So when I bought from my investment portfolio, I was basically looking and plan when we get here to take off my positions, which I did. Okay, and I'll show you some of the positions we took off. So this is a critical point right there, that green line on what will happen. Okay, now this is a monthly chart. Let's drill down into a lower chart. This is the 4-hour chart. Okay, and let's do this. This is a 4-hour chart here, and the key thing is, where do we close at the end of the week, end of the month? And actually, let's go backwards. Let's go to the weekly chart just to kind of show you what that weekly looks like. Because that was a monthly chart. You could see the level here, which is the monthly level there. And you could also see that is the green line here on the weekly. So the key thing is that green line, which was do or die for trending, is also the same level for the weekly. That means at the end of the week, we have to close below this line here. If we close below that line here, then we got a high probability to go down. If we close above that green line, we got a high probability to go up. So this week is very, very critical for the markets to see exactly what will happen. Okay. So now, this is on a weekly time frame. You could see today we went above that level here, and then we kind of went below it. Okay. Now, if we stay below this green line, now we have a high probability to get to the bottom of the cloud. If we break the cloud, then we got a high probability to get to the pivot low. Notice everything is in stages. It always has to be in stages. Okay. So you look for things to get into these stages, and when it gets to those levels, then you have to look to see exactly what the next step is. This is how you maneuver for the black swan event, okay? Because remember, what has happened is a black swan event. A lot of people are trying to predict what's going on and this and that. But how can you do predictions if you have no past event to sit there and reference at all? Okay. And that's the hard thing a lot of people are doing, which I don't understand, is they're trying to predict what the future is, but this is a black swan event where you have no idea at all. Okay. So right now, we're just looking at this chart here. If price is above the green line, you got a high probability to get to the top of the cloud. Price is below the green line, we got a high probability to sit there and get to the bottom of the cloud. As far as last week is concerned, we held the green line. That means the probabilities are still high that we maintain this green line and we go to the bottom of the cloud for this week. So yes, inner bar, we look like we went above, but so far the probabilities are still high that we get to the bottom of this cloud here. Reason why is last week we went, touched that green line, and we held it. Okay, so let's go to a 4-hour. And this is where we're now getting into granular situations, getting more short-term into trading type of scenarios and so forth. So you could see here, there was a bullish setup. The green shaded area means there was bullish setup there. The blue dots is basically entry, and that's the target here. This setup was a low probability to succeed. For us, success is only achieved if price gets these blue crosses, which is our first level or targets. Okay. We're not looking for take profits up here at all. We do not sit there and view this trade to be successful unless it gets these blue crosses. Okay. So this is a trade we did not enter as far as a trend trade is concerned, going bullish. And the reason why is these red dots tell us that this is a volatility trade, not a trend-based trade at all. And the probabilities were low to get to these blue crosses unless volatility entered. And you could see at different stages, volatility did enter, and that's why we're close to these blue crosses here. However, right now, we've gone up since the beginning of the month with volatility. And it's hard to see with this small chart here. And we've gone up extraordinary to a point there needs to be some type of relief that takes the volatility out, gives everyone a reality check so price could still go up. Everyone see that? Okay. Someone's asking me for a dashboard. No, I'm here to make money, not to create different products and different things. My goal is to sit there is keep things simple and sit there and trade the charts and make money, not to be a full-time student in education. There's no need for a dashboard at all. We have a free scanner, which I could show you guys in a minute, but that's all you need is a scanner, find the opportunities, and that's all you really need to do. Okay, and I'll show you the free scanner in just a moment. So there's no need for a dashboard at all or any other tools that you need. The goal is to keep this simple to a point even my 11-year-old son could sit there and trade it. And that's our goal always as an initiative in the IMTF. Okay, so back to this here. We are trending slowly up with volatility, but you could see we're losing steam here. And you could see here that we had a chance here to get to the target. It didn't do that. We came back down and we're below the levels here, which are the weekly and monthly time frame here. Everyone see that? Okay. Now, remember, what matters is where we close at the end of the week in terms of this level here. Okay. And that's what really matters. There is a timing element, which I'll tell you, and this is something we told our students, that the 15th on the E-mini was a high probability it was going to reach a high for the month. And you could see here, there's a 14th, there's a 15th right there. So this high right here, believe it or not, has a high probability for being the high for the entire month now going forward. Of course, that is a timing element. Timing elements have to be reinforced with what? Actions, okay? So that timing element will not be confirmed until price hits these green dots. When price hits the green dots, that tell us basically that we're below the green line and the bullish trend is officially over. And at that point, it's bullish consolidating, it's undergoing a pullback, and whatever words you want to use. But at that point, it will be confirmed that we do have a high for this month, which was pretty much around the 14th, 15th, because this is the E-mini futures, which is going in a 24-hour basis. Is there any questions in regards to this? Let me ask the questions. This is a combination of Ichimoku and parabolic. No, these green dots are not parabolic at all. They're not based on SARS or parabolic or all. This is a proprietary formula, which pretty much is just a buffer off the green line. So it's not based on SARS or anything else like that. Any other questions in regards to everything I've gone through? Okay, so here you could see everything that's going on. Okay, so right now we're kind of in an influx as far as the market is concerned. So you kind of need to sit there and be patient and wait for things to happen. Right now, if you sit there, you can look for trades on a 60-minute or 240 for both bullish and bearish. Remember, if you take bearish trades, they got to be short term because you are not below the cloud at all and the market will not help you. Okay, so you need to find trades that are bearish and they look bearish and they have not been destroyed with this upward movement going up at all. And you should look for them more towards the 60 minutes to keep your risk low because you are trading this pullback that's going on in the market right now. Okay. Let me show you one of the trades we talked about in the investment workshop, which was Walmart. So while the markets were going down, we were telling clients to keep it simple. Just look for a trend on a monthly chart that was bullish. In other words, don't sit there and guess. Look for something that's been above the cloud and being above the green line for a long period of time. And you could see here, back in July 2008, this thing got above the cloud and was above the green line. And since then, it's still been bullish here completely. Okay. Last month, when everything was going down, we had a workshop and oops. We had a workshop and we talked about, and this is when price was roughly about right here. We talked about buying scenarios from an investment point of view, not trading. There's a big difference. Remember, in trading, it's about timing and price where you're trying to get in and make sure that the instrument's going to go up or going down right away with very little drawdown. When you sit there and put an investment trade on, you have time on your side. That means you could sit there and go for a little drawdown and it's not a big deal at all. Okay. So in here, we're talking about look for something that was still bullish, which this is. And when it touches the green line, go ahead and buy it. And then now what you do is after you bought it, then you wait to the end of the month. Now you know how far low it went. So you could sit there and bought what Walmart here at $105.25. Now you're long in this position and you basically look at the low of that bar right there and you could do 1 penny below the low of the bar as your stop. So our stop on this one, let's just say was $102 and we bought it at basically about 105, let's say 105.50. That's a $3.50 stop, okay, for a long-term investment. That is really good if you think about it. Because what is that? That's 3% of the price of the stock. That's not bad at all going forward for investment, okay? And you could see here, Walmart came here, got to the pivot high, which is at 121, is now blown it, blew past it, and now up here at 128. These are type of investments that everyone should be making when the markets were going down. Everyone see that? Okay, so remember, this is as simple as looking for, since a black swan event occurs, you go to the monthly time frame. You look for instruments that are trending. In other words, being above the cloud and being above the green line for a long period of time, like this one here. This looks good, and this is the opportunity you look at here. Now, let me show you an opportunity that doesn't look good, just to make sure based on the questions. This is Valero, an oil stock. A lot of people been bottom picking in oil stocks and stuff like that. I haven't. It doesn't matter how much upside you're going to have. The thing is that this is an investment portfolio where we're looking for things to be long-term, not short-term. And they need to be predictable based on past events that's going on. Okay. Here, this is Valero. It's below the cloud and below the green line. That means this is not bullish at all. This is bearish. So I'm not going to sit there and try to predict where the bottom's going to be in this and where it's going to bounce off. There's no way I'm going to do that. Let's say if I could. Now, I bought it here. What's my potential reward? In going up, there's many resistances that you're going to have. And you got to understand, if this goes up, this is profit sharing profit taking for the bearish people. The same people that are taking profits are most likely going to come back and reshort the position at a higher price because they probably still believe in it because they made a lot of money in it. So now you don't know where that level is going to be. You don't know what your reward is going to be. So it's very hard to calculate your reward risk for something that's below the cloud. Does everyone understand that? Yes? So this is an opportunity where in the short-term time frames, i.e. the 60 minutes, 2 hours, and so forth, you're looking for bearish setups, not bullish at all, because this will probably come up, okay? And then it will sit there at some stage, stop going up, and it'll probably sit there and start to come back down too. Okay? What is, let's see, entry yesterday versus, okay. There was a question on ATVI. Here's ATVI right here. A green shaded area tells us basically this is bullish forecasting here. Okay, this meets our forecasting criteria. If you guys have any questions, you could email us. Let me give you the email here. Give me one sec. And we could send you a video and manuals in regards to a system and how it works. It's very simple. But here's all the information right there. This is a green shaded area. This had a blue E%E. Everything looks good for high probability for it to sit there and get to these blue crosses. It is. The trade was entered here at the blue dots. Our stop is these green dots right now, which is a trailing stop. And the goal is to get to these blue crosses right there. So this is on its journey going up. So this is a valid trade right now for the market that's actually starting to go down. And notice one thing. This is a bullish setup that we forecast to be bullish, okay? And you entered. The markets have gone down today. And you could see, even though the markets have gone down, this instrument has gone up. So this is going against the market right now. Does everyone see that? There's a question about my default settings on Ichimoku. They are the standard 92652. I don't believe on changing them at all. Remember, again, we are not here to be full-time students in learning. We are here to sit there and make money. That's as simple as that. The more you play with the parameters on the Ichimoku, the more you're going to sit there and be doing research for the rest of your life and trying to make that indicator work. The parameters worked in 1929 when Goshi Asada created it, and they've been working since basically I started using it completely. And don't read everything you hear about Ichimoku on the web because a lot of the information is false. Okay. So this is a trade moving forward. It looks good. There was another question. Oh, we had gold to look at. Let's look at gold on a higher probability. So gold here, you could see on the long-term basis was bullish consolidating when it went below the cloud of the green line here. And this is only since March, March here that we went below the green line, okay? Then all of a sudden at the beginning of this, by the end of the month in March, we went above the green line. And at that point, we closed above it. So now we are basically bullish trending on a long-term basis. Okay, so that's basically what's been going on with gold right now on the long-term basis. However, if you look in the daily time frame, we had a signal for a bullish breakout trade. here. This is a green shaded area. It got triggered right there on the blue dots. That was the entry. However, you got this aqua cross that told us to get out because it's showing you signs of weakness on the entry. So believe it or not, this bullish setup on the daily time frame does not have a high probability to get to these crosses unless volatility enters. It's actually got a high probability to consolidate and also a high probability to fail. So gold right now, even on a long-term basis, bullish. Right now, the steps on the lower time frames are telling you it's not ready to go bullish at all, and it's got a high probability where it's going to consolidate on a long-term basis. Okay, I think that answered that. There was a question on China. Let's see, where is that? I can't remember the Shanghai symbols. Let's see. I'm sorry, I just don't remember the symbol for the Shanghai Composite Index. Is that it? That's a CFD. Let's see what it does. I think this is it here. Let's look at this on a long-term basis. So here's the Shanghai Composite Index here. And you could see here, we're consolidating. And the reason why you could tell we're consolidating is because look at these shaded areas. They're just going back and forth, back and forth. You had a green shaded area, basically means there's a bullish setup trying to go bullish. Then you had another green shaded area to go bullish. It never succeeded at all. And now it created a red shaded area. The danger of this one is that this is the first red shaded area. If it actually gets to the blue dots here, it can sit there and start a bearish trend. Okay. Everything is set up for it to go bearish trend. The key is, will it get there to the blue dots? Okay. And that's going to be the magical question. So right now, this is bullish trending in a consolidation pattern long term, but it needs to get to these blue dots to sit there and start a full-blown trend. Okay. So right now, there's nothing in the Shanghai Composite at all. And you could see price right now is going up. Most likely will sit there and get to the bottom of the cloud or green line at least before any decisions are made in regards to that. Crude oil, this is a good one going short. And I know a lot of people are betting on it going up. However, there was still no high probability of it being in the bottom. I don't know how people are buying. Here is a situation here. This is a volatility trade here. You could see its volatility. Reason why is as soon as it entered here on this red dot there, after the shaded area, this is volatility. Then it got to a black dot. The black dots are extreme volatility, okay? And that's not good. And notice one thing, these black dots are remaining. And as long as they remain, this tells you this is an extreme volatile situation where crude oil cannot bottom and still could sit there and go down. And that's exactly what you see right now on the weekly basis. Let's go look on the 4-hour. The 4-hour is the bridge between the swing traders and long term. Okay, so you will not sit there and get any type of bottom unless on a 60 minutes and 4-hour, you basically sit there and get above the green line and above the cloud. If you look here, this is a bearish setup here, right there. It fit the forecasting parameters. And basically you sit there, you enter here, it got to the resistance here, and basically it's holding that resistance right now. So there's a big debate what's going on. There was high probability to at least get to this level here in 1932. Now the question is, what's going to happen? It is unknown right now based on the past events what can happen at all. So we have to sit there and wait patiently to see exactly what's going on in this trade in the next couple of days. So crude oil is in a very critical situation going forward. If you look at a lower time frame, like a 60-minute, you have here. So on the 60-minute, it was bearish trending. However, in the last hour, we basically got above the green line here. So we're now bearish consolidating here. It really doesn't matter because this is short term. Remember that. Okay. And you could see here that the bearish trade here was entered right there, got to its target, kind of hung around here, went low below that little target area, and now has come back here. So it is showing you some signs of bottoming temporarily, but does not mean this is a full term bottom at all. And it's dangerous to sit there and bottom pick right now on crude oil or any component really dealing with crude oil too. Okay. So we are planned on 45 minutes. And so we're going to wrap up now. If you guys have any more questions, you're more than welcome to post here. Here's our contact information right there. If you want to learn more about the indicator and the system and stuff like that, you could email us here. Basically, the person asked what the cost is. It's $35 a month for the indicator on TradingView. That also includes our WhatsApp chat room where myself and all the traders around the world are trading, and then also includes you being able to attend these weekly webinars where we go through market updates, not this one, but we do one for our internal students. We go for opportunities in trading, and then we go through and teach something new every week too. And that's about $35 a month. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to email us here, and then we could go from there. If you guys like this, please give us feedback in the comment section. And please click on the like button too on YouTube. That gives us feedback. If we do like this, then we'll plan on doing something like this on a regular basis going forward. Have a good afternoon and good luck trading, everyone.